Hi, everybody. I want your full attention today because I have three people from an event and also Dr. Jess Bueller on here. Maria Williams and myself went to South Dakota about 3 weekends ago or 2 weekends ago and dove in deep in an immersion a weekend with these three amazing leaders, Michelle Spires, Natasha, I hope I'm saying it right, Musser or Muser? Musser? Okay.
Musser, yep, you got it.
And Mark Shearer and Jess Bueller was the one who actually organized this event, and she had met, well, I'll let her share her story, but I want to get right into everything. But this is, they're transformational coaches. I'm just talking off the fly right now. I know he sent me his bio. I read it, and I'm just going to talk just off the top of my tongue and my heart. Um, they are masters in quantum physics coaching, in pure consciousness, in the way, languaging, and helping people transform limiting thoughts. Not that any of us have them. um, it quickly. What I really loved is that this immersion that we did for 3 days, things happen for people quickly, and we're all on this journey to grow together, right? And to inspire and to serve and to be happy and joyful, and we're all deserving of that. And as you know, there's things in our lives that we don't even realize that we that stop us in our tracks, or cause us to, we're not even aware, maybe even myself, aware of the languaging at times that I'm using, the nots, the can'ts, the don'ts, the wants. And I've done a lot of personal growth and development, and I watched Jess doing some amazing things this last year, and I reached out to her. I'm like, what are you doing? As you know, Jess is on the Science Advisory Board for LifeVantage. She is a consultant. She lives in Nowheresville, South Dakota, but Everywheresville, South Dakota. I had the pleasure of staying at her home and seeing the magic that their family is creating. A busy mom of 5 children, and a husband who's a farmer. And I'm telling you, they are a sustainable family. They are so much fun. I loved the house. I didn't want to call it chaos because it was beautiful. Everything. Um, just it was just so much love I felt. And anyway, so Jess organized a group. She organized Mark and Michelle and Natasha to come out, and they did. And I wasn't sure what to expect. And I'll tell you, he's a hard ass. He can call you right in your tracks. And I felt at times, like I didn't go in with a chip on my shoulder. I don't do that. But I did have a barrier up for whatever reasons, and he could feel it, like felt it without even me saying a word. And anyway, it was a beautiful weekend, and a weekend of transformation and continuing to grow and being open. And so I'm just going to, Mark has spent his life's work in helping people, from executive leaders in corporations to, network marketers to, couples counseling, all kinds of all kinds of businesses. So I'm going to let him go ahead and share more. And also Michelle, his partner, she's incredible. All the things, the words they use, their languaging is so impressive, you all. And I think if the world um, could be more aware, you would see a bigger shift in a lot that's going to happen. So, and Natasha also has started working with them. I also see Crystal, but Natasha has, I just met her as well. She's a chiropractor, They all met at this event, a chiropractic event, and the rest is history and it's unfolding, and they are expanding. And their website, which we'll put in here, is encompassnow.com. Don't go there right now. I want everybody to really be attentive here. Thank you all so much for being on. I love you. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you that we're on this journey together, this mission together with LifeVantage. And we're at a beautiful time here to really elevate ourselves because this company couldn't be in a better position. So before I go to Mark and Michelle, I just want Dr. Jess to kind of maybe segue and you introduce them as well, and just share about you and your journey. And this call, you guys, is going to be over 30 minutes, right? It's going to probably be 30 to 45 to maybe 55. Please make sure you're muted, whoever's not. And I think you're going to absolutely love it. I invited you all to invite people that even were not in LifeVantage. I have my dear friend Des on here, Desi on here. I think she is on here. And yes, got you. Yay. And anyway, so with that, Jess, I'm going to send it over to you, and then we'll have Mark and Michelle, Natasha, and just see where this goes, because you guys might want to get involved today, like even be that person that he works with on this Zoom. So let's just see where things happen. And thank you again for being on. Oh, and Issa just jumped on. I'm so happy. I want to mention this because she's in New York right now, lives in Arizona, and her dad is going in for the hospital today. So I'm sending you prayers and love. She's at the hospital now with him. But I'm blown away that you're on this call this morning. So I'm really happy, Isa. Thank you. Dr. Jess Bueller, I love you. Welcome to the call. Thank you for being on. And Desiree, I also want to mention Desiree Nelson, also in South Dakota. She is in LifeVantage. She's on Jess's team. She also had a breakthrough, and she's going to be sharing a little bit about that. So take it away, everybody. Thank you.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, Jess.
Okay. Um, wow. After that little intro, are you all a little freaked out? Like, what is Marisa getting us into? Right? Okay. I kind of want to reframe a little bit and just ask you a couple questions. Like, have you ever felt like you were stuck or struggling with any area of your life? You know, your kids, your spouse, your job, just your health, just not where you wanted to be, right? Anybody raise your hand, like ever felt stuck, struggling, just not really happy with where you are, right? That's where I was. How about, have you ever asked the question, how do I get from where I am to where I want to be? Like, you know, you're not there, you know, you want to be somewhere else, and you're just like here and you want to be here, right? Anybody else? Everybody, right? Everybody's been there. And I was there. And I went to a conference. Before I went to the conference, I'm like, okay, God, like, show me, show me, show me my next thing, like the thing that's going to get me from where I am to where I want to go. And I saw this booth for an eye. It had a big picture of an eye. And I overheard this woman with a PhD tell another doctor that from the back of her eyes, she could tell her what was holding her back. And I was like, well, sign me up and all my friends. And I went back to my, to my group of doctors that I was sitting with. Like any good network marketer, I told them all to go sign up at this booth and see what we could all talk about, what we found out. And that kind of was just the start of the journey, you guys. I had one eye talk session with Michelle and was amazed at what she could tell me from my eyeballs without having ever had a conversation with this woman. And within a few minutes, I'm crying and then I'm pissed. I mean, I'm really pissed. Like an hour session, and I'm like, what in the hell? Like I went to school for a long time. I've learned a lot of modalities, and in 1 hour, I thought I was a tough nut to crack. And Michelle was like, oh, easy. Um, we're going through this like nobody's big deal, right? And then I started doing some coursework with them, some group work. I was a little intimidated about the idea of doing it as a group and thinking like, man, if she's going to do what she did in that hour in a group, ooh, that's going to be harder than I'd like it to be. And the group sessions were absolutely massive, incredibly transforming. You get your upgrades, your changes in your awareness, and you work through your own journey as others are working through theirs. So I started a course with them called The Basics, and I finished The Basics Hungry for More. This was not just a missing piece from what I was doing, but massive pieces of the puzzle. And I say that with a lot of gratitude and honoring a lot of the education that I had done before this. A lot of education. I know some of you, but I don't know everyone on this call. But I have worked really hard to have education and knowledge in a lot of different areas, and I would keep adding another piece to the puzzle, like another tool, another thing to shift somebody. I'd get stuck with somebody and look for that next thing. Like, I'm the one who they send people to that they can't figure out what to do with. And all of a sudden my eyes were open to this massive piece. So I started The Basics, hungry for more, went into the core, and about midway through the core, uh, um, massive changes during the basics, but still a lot of questioning. Like, I had an awareness, like Maurice's talking about, an awareness of her language and awareness. And I was kind of pissed about that too. Like, man, I thought I was better at thinking than I was thinking. And just a lot of a lot of a lot of awareness, and what I thought I knew that I didn't actually know. I had an awareness of, but I didn't embody it. I didn't really feel it. And about midway through the core, they started talking about setting outcomes versus visualizing, seeing, feeling an outcome versus setting a goal. And I did that, and I started to do it, and I started to really just have more than awareness. I knew it, I felt it. And I went just business wise, because you guys are all in LifeVantage, right? I went from MC3 at the end of August to EC1 at the end of September, before this product ever launched, and enrolled. I had different things I was saying to myself, and then EC2, the end before October even ended. Same thing with September. And it just has, my business has more than tripled, and my chiropractic business as well. All of my relationships, my husband, my children, my work environment. Anytime I have a frustration, and I had a lot of them, I see you guys laughing up there with my pissy. I mean, I was angry. And there's a lot of every relationship I have that means a lot to me is a lot better than it was. And not just who I cared about, but even beyond that. As I change, everyone around me is changing. As I'm coached, I'm coaching others. As I'm coaching others, I'm being coached. It's just been this it happens. What they do, people could spend years doing other modalities and not get the changes that they're able to do in minutes, transforming every aspect of your life. And I guarantee there's some of you on this call that are still like, what the heck? Like, how is that even possible? And you're asking how. And I asked how too. And I hired coach after coach after coach after coach. And this is unlike anything you've ever seen. What they are doing is so amazing. So, that being said, whether it's income, it's quality of life, it's quality of your health, it's quality of your relationships, it's your peace. Oh, and all of that, I forgot to mention, all of that by being more and doing less. And I have spent my entire life doing. I mean, I can put my head down and do it, you guys. Like, do the deal. Um, and this has just been so different. So with that, um, you, Marisa, did you want me to do Mark next, or
Yeah, I'll go,
does Des
I'll go
need to
ahead.
go?
I think we'll go with Mark, since he is the founder of Encompass Life and the Quantum Leap program, and we'll start with him. But Jess, thank you.
Yes. Okay. So Mark, and Marisa, you mentioned him being a hard ass. And I gotta say, like, if you've got issues with men in your life, your Mark plays a part of a tone of a man, of a man of authority. He plays that part so well, so well.
I loved it.
Um,
I mean, yeah.
Yes, but he plays it. He does
Uh,
whatever it takes to help you get your transformation. And Marisa, you needed that transformation that he gave you as well. He helped you give yourself. But so
Howdy.
Mark is here, and I am so excited for you guys to get the opportunity to be on this call with these amazing people. And just I hope today can be the start of your journey with them, your journey to a better version of you. And when I said there's nothing else that does this, I mean this is something really special, really special. It's more than language. It's more than thoughts and feelings and words. It's all the things aligned with how God sees us.
mm, thank you,
Man,
Jess.
sign me up for the class. Wow.
Hi, Mark. Thank you again.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much. And thank you for staying in and technology for staying in the pocket and doing what you did in class. Beautiful, 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 Marissa. And Jess, thank you so much for all your introductions and what you're doing too. By the way, you look way different today than you did yesterday on the call. Way different.
Thank you, Mark.
Way lighter. Jess. Huh.
Yes.
Anyway, so I'm Mark Scherer. I'm the CEO and founder of Encompass Life. I developed this technique, I guess, or developed it, remembered it. And it's a way to affect all areas of your life simultaneously and exponentially. I've studied consciousness for about 35 years, give or take now. I've studied in a lot of different modalities. Um, I probably did 20 years worth of work before I started doing the bones of this system about 15 years ago. And those other modalities would help some, but they would be it's kind of like a roller coaster. Wow, I'm getting really good, and then crash up and down, up and down, up and down. I'll give you a little bit of my background and what happened when I found this system. As a kid, I had a speech impediment. If I said a word incorrectly, I would get hit or yelled at. So my speech impediment turned into a stuttering issue. I stuttered for 50 years. For me to get up and speak in front of a group of people was excruciatingly painful. I had 15, 20 different voices going on in my head. You're going to screw up. What are people going to think of you? All that type of things going on. I had pretty tough childhood, so a lot of head chatter about not being good enough, not doing things right. Just that those voices, they were keeping me up at night. They're affecting my health. I wore glasses for 37 years. I took allergy medicines for 30 plus years. What else? Oh, I was so terrified to speak in front of a group of people. I had tumors growing in my throat. I had skin conditions the doctors couldn't heal. I was taking meds to sleep at night. I had been doing substances for a number of years. I had ruptured disc in my back, frozen shoulders. I got in a really bad accident. I couldn't even walk. I had a big embezzlement in my company, lost a bunch of money, and I found the bones of the system right when all that stuff was going on. My allergies healed the first day I did a class with my mentor. My vision healed in about a week. What else? The skin conditions went away very quickly as well within a week or two. I had tumors growing in my throat. I coughed and spit those out while on a date. Mind you, that was quite exciting. I began to be able to walk and stand up to pee, which was wonderful. That was a big highlight. I got off all the drugs, began to sleep at night, and most importantly, I began to really, really trust God again. Probably for the first time in my life. And so I studied with this guy for about 10 years, and I started Encompass Life about 6 years ago. And Michelle and I started it together. Michelle, I met her when I was with this other company I was studying with, and we started Encompass Life 6 years ago, and she has been a blessing in my life since she's come in. And we're partners in relationship. We're also partners in the company, and we travel together and we lead classes, and I mean, she doesn't know how I could do what we're doing here without her, but she's amazing. So what is it that we're doing here? Great question. Thank you so much for asking. Everything we do here is scripturally based. And you may have heard life and death exists in the power of the tongue. By your words, you are justified. By your words, you are condemned. The word is made flesh. Those different types of things. Yes? Anybody heard those words? Okay. Most people have heard them and they're aware of them, but they have yet to actually occupy and live in your body. You've yet to actually embody it and trust it as if it's a fact, like it is gravity. Gravity, if gravity worked 99% of the time, would you trust gravity? That's a tough question. Come on now. Would you trust gravity if it just worked 99% of the time? You come, like, imagine going out in the morning looking for your dog and going, holy crap, where did he go? I forgot to tie him down last night, and he's 3 counties over. So how many of y'all have heard of the law of attraction? Raise your hand. Okay. So what we do here is we call what we do here the gift of co-creation. So say the law. Everybody say the law. Come on, Michelle. I'm going to give you a little so you can start to feel what your words do to your body. Say the law. Now say the gift. Make sure you say the words so you can feel. Which feels better. You can unmute yourself. We can get interactive here. I'm good with that. So say the law.
The
Come
law,
on.
The law.
Now say the gift.
The
The
gift.
gift.
What do you notice in your body?
lighter,
The gift feels better.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Say the money.
No.
The money.
Money.
Now say my money.
My
My
money.
money.
Say a partner.
A
A
partner.
partner.
My partner.
My
My
partner.
My partner.
Which notice the difference in the feelings. Yes.
Yes.
Every word we speak has a particular frequency, and as you speak, it will either thud you or it will lift you. The words that lift you, that have you go, that feels really good, begin to have you have a experience of enlightenment. And that's called moving upscale in consciousness. You begin to have passion for life, purpose in life, enthusiasm for life. And enthusiasm is very different than excitement. Say excitement.
Excitement.
Now say enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm.
The word excitement has an EX like exterior, and the word enthusiasm has the sound of interior, right? The word enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, meaning with God.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
I know, right? So when people are living exciting lives, oh my God, when I get this deal closed, it's going to be great. And they get really close to closing a deal and then something happens. Or maybe you get it, but then you go, "Ah, why didn't I ask for more?" And you're never really satisfied living an exciting life. It's just like the donkey chasing the carrot. It's not. Whenever I get this, then I'll feel this way. And you're chasing it, chasing it, chasing it, chasing it. You're never really fulfilled, never really happy, no matter what. Even if you really work hard to manifest something and manifest it, you're still frustrated, you're still pissed, and you're like, what's next? Right? Anybody? Am I the only one?
Yeah. Oh,
Come on
yes.
now.
Yes.
Yes.
Jesus, making me work hard on a Monday. Come on now.
Absolutely.
So, well, and everybody's talking, Marissa and Jess were both talking about the speed and velocity of what we do things here. And me being a hard ass. Really, I'm a big cream puff, but I can play whatever role I choose to play.
Mm.
And I'll do whatever it takes for people to get this information, because the success of Encompass Life is determined by the success of our clients.
Yes.
We just now started advertising. We just started doing things. Everything that Encompass
Mm-hmm.
Life has achieved in the last several years has been done by word of mouth. When I first started doing this type of coaching, I didn't even have a website. And I got clients from all over the world, no website, nothing, just based on results. And our clients were asking, where do we learn to do what you're doing? Well, there's nobody doing what I'm doing as far as I can tell. So we've put together a university over the last 6 years, and we've been training people who can lead classes. Because when people get a taste of what we're doing here, a high percentage of people jump in for the whole enchilada. They jump in and they really do the classes because it's so dramatically different. Well, Mark, how's it dramatically different? Thank you for asking. Great. So, how many of y'all have heard you got to think positive thoughts and don't think negative thoughts?
Yep.
Yes.
To me, whenever all the other modalities I did had the positive and negative thing involved in it, you have to think positive and don't think negative. That was like adding one more voice to my head to try to manage all the other voices. In other words, it's like herding cats. Anybody? I even got Cindy saying yes on that one. Thank you, God. Awesome. So excruciatingly painful trying to manage all that stuff. It reminded me of when I was trying to public speak years ago. And when I told you I had a stuttering issue, my dad had hit me as a kid. So for me, when I would get up to speak in front of a group, the voices in my head were, what are you going to say? What are people going to think of you? All those things were running consistently. So for me to be able to connect with an audience like I'm doing now, it was impossible because I was so worried about one, my body chemistry, because I was sweating, I was pouring sweat out. And by the way, Crystal on the call knew me 15 years ago, so she can vouch for all this stuff as well. So what we're doing here is instead of getting the positive and negative things and trying to manage thought, what we're doing here is we're changing body chemistry, which changes thoughts immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are trying to change thought to change body chemistry. And they have people meditate and they have people do all this stuff. And I've done meditation and all that as well. And we've had people coming to us from Joe Dispenza who they said it would take hours of meditation to be able to get to the state that the person is now living in consistently. So in other words, instead of sitting down and meditating for several hours a day to get into a state, then you go, oh, well, there it is. And then you go back into the world and you go, well, there it isn't. Where did it go? Right? What we're doing here is having you develop a set of tool sets and embody them, sometimes in a matter of minutes, where you can live in this state of ever increasing peace. And I know I make some pretty bold claims, and As long as you play the game, they work. As long as there's a system we're using here, and as long as you do the system, it works every single time because you have been using the system your entire life up till now. It's just you've been using it from a state of unconsciousness, and the system has produced exactly what you reflected, exactly what you had going on inside you, whether you believe it or not. This gift of co-creation is consistently running. And if you're, let's see how to say this. You ever heard ask and you shall receive?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you ask a question of why am I such a screw up or why is life so hard, what happens is the subconscious will bombard the conscious mind with a whole bunch of answers to that question you asked of it.
Mm-hmm.
The conscious mind runs between 40 bits of information per second up to 2,000 bits of information per second. The subconscious runs between 20 million up to 400 billion bits of information per second. The subconscious is our connection to God. God is way faster than the little peanut brain we got inside our head.
Love it.
So most people are getting answers they hate because they ask the question from a state of hate. But really what you're getting is a whole bunch of ahas to a really stupid question. Making sense a little bit, folks?
Yes.
So the system we're using here is called the quantum loop technique, and it's a way to bypass how. It's a way to change the way your body chemistry in a matter of seconds or minutes and produce a brand new behavior modification in minutes. And a whole other set of results in your life, in the relationships with the people around you as well. All those things can change very, very quickly. A lot of times, the person we're working with will reprogram their behaviors and start taking on a new set of behaviors instantaneously. And I have to call their attention to the changes they've made in their life because they've happened so quick, they don't even know they did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. Like instead of having to go 400 to 600 repetitions or have a 3-week pattern shift, it can happen instantaneously. We had a lady come to class who she attended basics, who had we're going to have to have gallbladder surgery. Did the class, went back to the doctor. He goes, your gallbladder is perfectly healthy. Like what? You know, her husband has severe dementia, cognitive issues, where if I'd ask him a question, he would just go, I don't know, and I can't remember, and just sit there and cry. Couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't find his way home, couldn't do math. Geez, I don't know what else. Maybe he was speaking like 3-word sentences, type of a deal. Couldn't speak in paragraphs. We've been working with us about a year now. He's reading, writing. He's beginning to do math. He's driving the car. He goes to stores by himself and finds his way back home. Amazing. Cutting grass, changing oil in the car, all those things. He's such an inspiration to me because when I met him, he's the furthest down person I have worked with that particular issue since I've been doing this work. He's a month older than I am, so I'll be 66 in December. He just turned 66 in November, and he's way speeding up. His daughter said she had the first conversation with her dad in 6 years just recently, the first real conversation with him. So, what are we doing to do this? What I've discovered is most people they compete on how much they can complain about life. You think you're having trouble with money? Let me tell you about me. You think you're struggling? Let me tell you about me. You think your husband is an ass? Let me tell you about mine. Oh my God. You think your kids are bad? Let me tell you about my kids. You try to one up each other on what you complain and how much pain you can have in your life and still survive. So you're focusing your life on complaining and surviving rather than on thriving and what you really love about life.
Mm.
And what we're doing here is reprogramming the subconscious to start focusing on what you love. And what's healing people, what's really, really healing people and their families and their health and their money and all that stuff is LOVE, capital LOVE, not little squeaky LOVE, capital LOVE. And capital T truth, not your truth, because your truth is like an opinion, and opinions are like bungholes, and everybody's got one of those. I was going to say asshole, but this is a mixed group. Anyway. And one of the things we do here is we interject humor as a vehicle for transformation.
Mm.
So we do really deep work and we use humor. And they've proven that it takes 400 to 600 repetitions to create a pattern shift, unless you use humor, and it only takes 10 to 20. Personally, I believe the way we're doing it here, it only takes 3 to 5. And humor bypasses the defense mechanisms in the brain and has you embody something in a brand new way. In scriptures, it says you have to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to be childlike. What do children love to do? Anybody?
That's the laugh.
Laugh and play. Yes.
Yes.
Do they have to figure out how to do it?
No.
No. But all of a sudden you get to a certain age and you've been told you were wrong. You started to shut down. You started to tolerate your life, and you started to withdraw and go into resignation. And so what we're doing here is raising your enthusiasm, which is our natural state with God. And all of a sudden, playfulness comes back. I like to call it mojo. You get your mojo back. Even Cindy, you can get your mojo back no matter what age you are. You can raise your playfulness, and as you do, you're gonna come alive again, and to a whole brand new different level. Income goes up, relationships goes up, all those things happen at the same time. Because what's really happening is you're changing your relationship to life, capital L life, and when you do, all areas of your life change simultaneously and exponentially. Questions, anybody? Please have questions.
Yeah. So
Do we have a
I
question?
I have a question.
Who's
So
that?
Michelle Vorst, Colorado. So Jess said that you did something at that booth about their eyes. Like what modalities do you use to do this?
I mean, how do we do this thing?
Yeah.
So we take a picture of somebody's eyes, and it's a combination of, you ever heard of iridology?
Yes.
No.
No. So iridology is a science, or I can pull up all kind of things on it, but it's a way to find out if you have issues with different parts of your body, and then iridologists recommend herbs or something to correct those deviations or to help support that person in healing them. And what they do with the iridology is the eyes are more of a static state. In other words, these are kind of the cards you're dealt with, and we'll do the best for you to live your life kind of okay. What we do here is we work with the emotional state that's causing the state of disease. So if somebody has back issues, they don't feel supported. If somebody has diabetes is a conversation of, I can't see the sweetness of life, or I have a bitterness towards life, and the pancreas shuts down, and the person has diabetes. So I've worked with people who have diabetes, have been on insulin, and sometimes I work with them on 1 or 2 calls. Sometimes it takes longer. It just depends on if the disease is chronic or acute, and they'll be off all their meds. Thyroid issues, same thing. All these states of disease are really a conversation associated with feelings in the body that creates a disease. In other words, a state of non-ease, right?
Yep.
Okay. So what we do is we work with the causal, and then once we change that, once that person quits producing that toxicity of their feelings, the body will repair itself. Sometimes it can happen really, really quick. We had a guy come to our last body electronics class. And we work with a lot of different doctors too. So one of our doctor friends had this guy come to class. She'd been treating him for cancer. Nothing was working. So she sends him to class. His right leg was probably double the size of his left leg from the knee down. He had a tumor somewhere between the size of a tennis ball to maybe like a racquetball on his shin. And so he comes to class. We measured his leg when he got to class, worked with him for about an hour and a half with this particular modality. And his leg went down about 1.75 inches or so, maybe 2 inches. And the tumor reduced by about 20 to 30% in an hour and a half.
Wow.
And Ms. Natasha was there; she can verify that as well. And the doctor who's still working with him, his legs continue to shrink. The guy, I can show you pictures of him before and after the class. You wouldn't recognize he's even the same guy.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, what?
Can I add to this
Yes,
group
ma'am.
that several of the people, well, Marisa and Desiree that are on here that were in that in-person event, that 3-day experience that Marisa was describing, they did not have their eye talk session before that event. That was
Right.
their first exposure to this technique.
Uh-huh.
And then they got eye pictures at that in-person event. So you can start working with Encompass Live, with Mark, with Michelle, with Natasha. You can start work before you get that. That's just a certain one of the techniques
Tools.
that they use. One of the tools that they use is eye talk, but they have you can come in,
Yep.
start wherever along your journey, in-person event or on
Online.
Zoom.
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, all of our in-person events, we take photos of your eyes and you get a private session after the event. All of our classes are small, 20 to 30 people or so. I'm about producing results with our clients rather than filling up a big room full of people. Because what we're doing here is experiential. This is other than a raw type of a class where you get out of the class, you feel great in the class, you get out and you start going back down afterwards. What we're doing here is we're fostering support after the class as well, to where we're helping you continue to make it a habit to continue to grow, to continue to move upscale. We're doing, Michelle, I, and Natasha are doing it ourselves. When I met Natasha about a year and a half ago, I guess, somewhere around like that, Natasha was basically a doormat. I literally asked her, is it okay if I poke you in the eye with a sharp stick? And she had to ponder the question and think about it before she could say no. She was terrified to speak in public. And she's young. Back then, I think she was 33, maybe 32, something like that.
Yeah.
She hadn't spoken to her dad in 23 years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is that Mia? Yeah, thanks, that Mia. Yeah, me too. I'm like, wow. Now her and her dad have a relationship. Her relationship with men was really sucky. She was being used by men. She had no boundaries. She was, that anger she had embodied with her dad was affecting all her relationships with men as well. And she literally I think the second class she came to, she said, I'm going to do whatever it takes to sit in your chair and lead the class. And so she has accelerated tremendously because she has this burn inside of her pulling her forward. So I'm going to talk a little bit about things that keep you stuck. So there's 4 things that keep you stuck in a pattern. If you have a repetitive pattern, there's 4 things that keep you stuck. Those 4 things are shame, blame, guilt, and hate. So rather than trying to adjust the pattern, what we do here is we remove those 4 things, the glue that's holding the pattern into place. Once we do that, the pattern begins to dissolve on its own. Most other people aren't doing it this way. In fact, I have yet to find anybody doing what we're doing here. And I've studied consciousness all over for 35 years. Crystal even knew the other system of the bones I studied in. And she came over here just recently, and she had a background in the other system. And she goes, man, what you're doing here is really, really different. You're taking it to a whole nother level. This is fun. The other system was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
This is way fun. I mean, every now and it may get a little confronting, and the confrontation occurs because what limits you the most in your life is also what you hate the most about yourself, and also what you defend the most. Say that again. What's limiting you in your life, what's limiting you in your career, in your sales, is what you hate the most about yourself. It's also what you defend the most. It limits you, defends, and hate. Those 3 things are all tied together. So when this begins to shift, for you to have the life that's 10x or 100x greater levels of love than you have now, you're going to have to find those things you hate. And those are the things you're going to transform into love. All the things you hate in your life, you've spoken them into existence with the word not. All limiting unconscious belief patterns are spoken into the existence with the word not and are continuously fed with the word not. And Stanford did a study, and they said complaining damages the neurons in the brain. Said even if you're passively listening to somebody complain, it damages your neurons. I like to simplify things, complaining makes us stupid.
I like your way of saying it.
So anytime you're speaking the word not, unless you're using as a comparison, I don't like chocolate, I do like vanilla. But if you're walking around saying, I don't like this, and I don't want this, and I don't that, and I don't bump, and they're not, and this isn't, and life's not fair, and all those things, what it's doing is it's producing your neurons to fire in the same pattern again and again and again, and you're firing in these furrows of limitation. So what we're doing is you're rewiring your brain. So instead of your brain finding greater and greater things you can complain about, your brain will begin to fire across the field and automatically provide solutions for you of greater and greater and greater levels of effectiveness. And that's it. Pretty simple.
We're all fixed. We're all better.
All better.
All better. This is wonderful, and I want to continue. Michelle hasn't shared anything. I would love for her. I would love Desiree Nelson. I have I have 2 Desirees on here that spell it the same way. Can you believe that? My friend Desiree Find is actually a friend of mine, became a new customer yesterday, and I invited her on this call as well. But I would love to hear from Michelle. I would love to hear Desiree's breakthrough, because this woman at that weekend retreat or seminar that we were a part of, workshop, wow. is I want you to hear from her. You guys, please stay on. I know we're over that we normally do, but this is so worth it. So keep going. Michelle,
Yeah, let's, I mean, you should have Desiree share. I choose to know if she's on a time frame and all
okay,
that stuff. Let's,
perfect.
yeah, I think that would be a great
Hi,
fit.
Des. Okay, Jess, I'm gonna, because Jess brought in this group of beautiful people, farmers, their wives, you guys, people that knew nothing about personal growth and development and were living these lives, just existing, performing, doing, surviving. Des's story is so powerful. I can't even tell you. Like, we were all in tears. And Jess brought her in this room. Jess has changed so many lives. Like, this is crazy. It's so beautiful. So, Desiree, let people know who you are and what this has done for you.
Got it. I'm Desiree. I've actually known Jess pretty much my entire life, I think. Together, she has been a staple, mostly for my daughter, Mackenzie, who was born with a neurological condition called hydranencephaly. So she had a stroke in utero that stopped the development of her brain. We were told that she would not live to see her first birthday, and she just turned 18. Among other things that we were told, she would never understand, she would never see or hear, or basically she would have zero quality of life. And if she lived past her first birthday, it would be meaningless. I didn't like what they had to say. So I had gone outside of the box for everything for her. As I said, she's 18. She goes to public school every day. She depends upon care, full-time care. So she has an aide that is with her all day, every day. However,
basically
we as in me and my husband, Mackenzie has gone from blindness to sight. She actually uses her eyes now as her main source of communication, looking up for yes and down for no. So we ask her a lot of yes, no questions. She's also learning how to use a communication device, again, which should not even be possible because she doesn't have the brain capacity. So when Jess invited me to the How to Wow in Pier, I was full of a lot of anger and hatred, resentment. I was on the brink of a divorce. I was frustrated because Mackenzie was at a point in her life where I felt like she was stuck, but it was because I was stuck in my own lies and thoughts in my head. I have repaired my relationship with my husband. It is probably almost better than it's ever been. And this is in 3 weeks. I decreed Mackenzie to have ease in her body, and it's freaking amazing. Like, she could be uncomfortable and crying in the car, and I just said, I love that your body's at ease, Mackenzie. I love your body at ease. Mackenzie, your body is at ease. And she just stopped, and she was so calm and peaceful. That never happens. Never. That never happens. And it's happening. I also feel like I am beginning to love myself. I am beginning to love myself. And I can feel the change around me. Like, I can feel people changing around me, and I can now see how they have told me they viewed me. I can see that through my own eyes now. It's it's kind of crazy. Thank you, Mark and Michelle.
You're welcome. Can you have something for you to say? Say, my love
My love
heals me
heals me
and my family.
and my family.
Say, my big love
My big love
heals me
heals me,
and my family.
family.
Say it again.
My big love heals me and my family.
My big love
My big love
furnishes my world.
furnishes my world. My big love furnishes my world.
That's quite different than complaining, folks.
I have a lot of complaints
And you have a great smile.
too.
I cried more coaching you than I have anybody in years. And I got to start to see where your trajectory is headed. You have a beautiful life in front of you, honey. So, wow.
Time
Wow. Yeah, see what a hard ass I am.
Mhm. Mhm. This is beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mark. I know Michelle's going to share a little more, and then I do want to share, you guys, there's opportunities here on many levels to be a part of them virtually or in person. They're doing some in-person events. They're formulating right now, planning something in Phoenix, Arizona. I believe the first or second week in Arizona, Phoenix.
February, first weekend in February.
First weekend in February, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
A Friday, Saturday, Sunday, first weekend in February. Also, Jess has helped organize the med. Is it, how do I say that? The body work,
Body electronics.
body electronics. That's a separate, there's different things that build on each other, but the body electronics is also something, but maybe they don't do that first, right? What do you recommend someone gets involved with that wants to get
If you
involved?
can, best way is probably get involved with the basics or from how to wow. The class is called From How to Wow.
And that's
And
what
then,
I did in
yeah,
South.
yeah, and then body electronics. Um, those they continuously build on each other, and I think we're gonna start making it. That's gonna be mandatory here in the future. We're letting people come in either any of those three places, but I believe we're gonna, as we grow, we're gonna start making that mandatory as well to have basics or From How to Wow involved before you come to buy electronics.
Yeah. And I've
But
asked lots of people who did the basics, the online version first. Did they, did it work for you to do it that way? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did it that way. And then I asked people who did How to Wow first, are you glad you did it that way? And they go, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I did it that way.
yeah,
So for if any of you are asking that question, which is the best place to start? Whatever fits in your schedule with the greatest ease is the best
yeah.
place to start.
Just start.
Yeah,
Just
everything
start.
will build.
Yeah.
Wherever you start will build. There is a point in time where we things are done sequentially. But we'll let you know as far as getting started. It's just about getting started. We also do have a free call tomorrow night, right?
Oh, tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yeah, thanks, Marita. Encompasslife.com. But yeah, we have the second Tuesday night of each month, we do what's called Transformational Tuesday. And we're talking about, or Mark's talking about the gift of presence, PR with a CE at the end instead of a TS. Most people are so focused on the gifts. There's a totally different way to do life. And yeah, it's super fun. So you guys, we can get you that link as well. If that's something y'all are interested in, and you can hop on, you can invite friends. But that'll have some greater info in it, and usually work with a person or two in that call as well. So, yeah.
And we have Crystal on the call too. Crystal, you can reach you can reach Crystal by email address qlt@encompasslife.com. Crystal is like a tour guide. She can help you answer questions. What's the best way to start? Sometimes you can put put a couple classes together if you're interested, and there's some savings involved with that, and there's all kind of ways to come in. And the returns can happen pretty quickly. We've had numerous people who've done How to Wow where their income has increased double to triple in 90 days. I mean, that's kind of nice. We had a lady come to class who was doing 25 to 35 million a year in a company, and she was on thyroid meds for 33 years. Worked with her for about an hour and a half. And so, hey, you better, when you get out of the class, you better go get your thyroid checked. And I said, your business is getting ready to really explode. She had hired several business coaches and was stuck at the 25 to 35 million. She got out of class, went to the doctor, and had to reduce her meds by more than 50%. And her business went from 35 million to 350 million in a year. And now she's over $1 billion in 4 years. Fantastic growth. And it goes back to scriptures. You gotta get the poison out of your system. Things you're holding on to, you think you have them compartmentalized, they bleed over into all areas of your life. And so we're helping people clear all that stuff up. And it can be, sometimes it can be a little tough. Sometimes there's tears, but it's usually like tears of like, holy crap, my old identity's dying, and holy crap, my new identity's coming into being at the same time. So anyway, I think I just butted in on Michelle again.
It's okay. I'm collecting links and posting them in the chat for those of you who are interested.
Yeah. So if any of y'all are interested, I believe we're gonna be in Phoenix the first weekend of February is what we're looking at. We already have about 6 or 8 people. I just started talking about it. We already have about 8 people who have said they're going to be flying in for it. So the class is going to probably fill up pretty quickly. So I'd recommend you get in if you're going to do it. It's an amazing experience. Like I said, I've been doing stuff for 35 years. And this is the fastest thing I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we got people say they've been doing stuff for 20 years, and they do come here and they go, I got more than 20 minutes with you than I did in 20 years worth of therapy.
Yeah. We also have for those of you up north or who just really love cold, I live in Florida, by the way, so I will be purchasing extra clothing to be going up there. But we're also doing a 3-day How to Wow, January 17th through the 19th in the Minneapolis area. If that's Crystal can help you with all of that if you're interested, or you can also head over to the website and find more info there. But yeah, and as far as online classes, the next we are taking a little pause over the holidays because lots of people travel and family time and all those things. So the next online basics class, it's 4 weeks, 2 2-hour calls a week for 4 weeks. That's going to start the last Monday of January on the 27th. So if that's something y'all are interested in, it'll be a great way to start your year off. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, what I have found for me and what most of our students or clients or whatever word you choose to put in there, what we are all finding is the ease and simplicity of life. I used to think life was complicated, it was hard, it was no, all it is, you just live in the spiritual promises that we talk about. Mark said everything was scripturally based. Can also be found in quantum physics. We work with people from all different backgrounds. But when something's true, it works forwards and backwards. It works inside out. It's just true through and through. And so what you'll find is if you have chaos or other things going on, it's because there are lies involved. You get down to the simplicity of these spiritual promises and everything begins to move with greater and greater ease.
I have a question from somebody that's on the call saying they're familiar with the concept of changing your subconscious beliefs. I don't understand what the modality is. From that example with the other Desiree, it seems like affirmations or NLP, possibly coaching. So can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, go for it, Mark.
Okay. Yeah, most people when they're doing affirmations, they're speaking vain. They're speaking in vain. They just do the same words again and again and again and again, and there's no alignment. The reason why a lot of people have a tough time aligning, they have to have, let's do it this way. When our thoughts, words, and feelings come in alignment, we have instantaneous manifestation. In other words, we create a whole new level of body chemistry, a whole new level of awareness, and it happens instantaneously. When somebody's having a tough time going to a new level of, say, let's say joy or love or gratitude in their life, it's because they're holding on to something in their energetic field, in their feeling world. So what we do, we have a way to be able to identify that in a matter of seconds, have that person find that blockage, clear that, and have them speak in a new way. Like Desiree was speaking a few minutes ago, you can tell she began to feel her words deeply, and when she was, you were also beginning to experience it as well. So it is very different than NLP. NLP can be used to control and manipulate people. And what we're doing here is you're reprogramming your subconscious with your own alignment of what you choose. I may help you prompting things for you to speak, but you're the one doing it. And instead of speaking what you don't want and can't stand, and all those things you've said in your life up till now, you're beginning to reprogram everything based on love. Most likely you're going to be speaking words with feelings. That's going to be the first time you've spoken these words with feelings in your life, and most likely the first time these words have been spoken with feeling in your entire lineage. In other words, you're going to be the first one to alter the trajectory of your lineage.
And then also, Mark, for someone who says, they're not religious, they don't resonate with the Bible. So
Quantum physics.
It's law.
Quantum physics. It's quantum physics.
It's just languaged in an easy to understand way.
Right. Yeah.
Scripture and quantum physics mirror each other.
Yeah.
The spiritual promise component that we are working with.
It's physics. And when there's a thing in the Bible that says, "Judge not, lest you be judged." Physics is for every action there's an equal or opposite reaction. So truth is truth, and I take the religious spin of it off. Most of the time, I don't even use the word God or Jesus or anything in the classes. I use love, life, truth, and light, and those things. Love moves you forward. Would you like to have greater levels of love in your life? Most everybody will agree to that. So if that's something you like to have is greater levels of love, if you'd like to have greater levels of loving your finances, if you'd like to have greater levels of loving your husband, if you'd like to have greater levels of loving yourself, then cool. If you'd like to go to greater levels of hate, we can offer a class for that too.
I think you're doing fine on that on your own.
Yeah, you're doing fine on your own.
Seriously.
And everything.
Yeah, a lot of times there's been so much dogma associated with different religions. So, we're the way I was raised about religion, I couldn't even say the word God 20 years ago. I couldn't say the word love 20 years ago. I couldn't speak in public 20 years ago. And now, look, what I'm doing now is I'm speaking in public and getting people back in touch with the power of love. Thank you. I love what I'm doing. Love it.
This was such, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say a couple more sentences. Everything we're doing here, it's about you getting back in the driver's seat of your own life. You've been in the driver's seat, but most likely you've been blaming other people, blaming God, life, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times what I find when I'm working with people is they're carrying blame that they have yet to even recognize as blame. But you've heard the truth sets you free. So as we start unpacking some of this stuff, you'll realize, oh, oops, here are some pieces. And again, like one of the ways I language it is we're playing the bumper on the bowling alley to you at ever narrowing levels so that you find the path on your own. Well, we're here to assist you in the beginning to however far you choose to go with it, but it's about you realizing you've always been in charge, you always will be, your co-creative gift is always working. That's it. And now you get to actually use it in a way, instead of producing pain and hate, you get to use it consciously and produce things you love at ever expanding levels. Period.
And if you don't resonate with something, we'll find something you do resonate with.
Yes.
And like I say, you're going to start focusing on what you choose rather than on what you don't want and don't like. And that's going to be that's going to be a big shift in your life.
Yeah. So.
Thank you. Thank
Cool.
you. Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Call. This was very powerful, you guys. This is an invitation for you to transform whatever it is that you want to transform. It's been beautiful. It's a beautiful journey, and I feel like I'm just getting started.
Me too.
Thanks to y'all for
Me
staying
too.
on for so long. I know this was way over your normal time allotment, so thank you so much.
All right, I will stop the recording.